Welcome or welcome back to my channel and what's new with human design. Today we're going to talk about the sun moving into the gate 62 and the earth moving into the gate 61. If you have been following these updates at all, you have heard me talk about the knowing circuit a number of times. The 61, which is what the energy that the earth is lighting up right now, it's right here and it's the beginning of the knowing circuit. And so it's plugged directly into super consciousness, and the knowing circuit is not logical, it's not rational, it's not reasonable, it's not linear, it's not analytical or strategic. It's none of those things. It is actually the biggest subcircuit in the whole chart. There's a lot of different parts of the chart that are connected with the knowing circuit. It's an energy for being able to receive downloads from superconsciousness, being able to tap in and receive guidance, being able to just have an inner sense of knowing about things. When I talk to people who have a lot of this defined in their chart, I will often say to them, do you just know things? And they're like, yeah, I don't really know. And I'm like, right, you didn't learn it anywhere. Nobody told you. You didn't read it in a book. So the knowing circuit is super cool. And this week, the Earth is lighting up the 61. We also have Pluto, which is in retrograde motion right now, is lighting up the 61. Now, Pluto's been there for a while. Pluto has a tendency to hang out for a while, wherever it is, because it's, way out there and it's slow moving, compared to the Earth, which is changing every 5 or 6 days. But Pluto is the god of the underworld. Pluto is a great transformer. Pluto is the energy that will kind of grab a hold of you by the scruff of the neck and say, you need to be paying attention to this. And if you're not paying attention to this, we're going to put you down and you're going to have breakdown until you do start to pay attention, until you get the lesson of whatever it is. And then it can be enormously empowering when you do. But that's really what Pluto's about. And it's not often particularly gentle. Like I said, the god of the underworld is going to pull you down until you pay attention and until you start to open up to whatever it is that he wants you to get. So he has been lighting up the gate 61, which is the gate of wonder in, which is the gate of wonder in quantum human design and the gate of mystery, I believe. I always think of it as inspiration, the gate of inspiration in traditional human design, because that's what it is. It's inspiration. It's ideas, downloads, perceptions, perspectives that are coming in from really a higher realm, into our human experience and helping us to see something differently. So the Earth is now going to be providing some stability to this way that Pluto may have been rattling your cage a little bit, hoping to break you out of your overly logical, overly linear, strategic, analytical mind, which of course we've all been trained into in our culture. That's what's valued in our culture. So if that is true for you, you're in very good company, because I think that's pretty much true for everybody. And what human design shows us, and I think what Pluto is really trying to get us to get right now, is that logic circuit, which we're going to come back to in a minute, because the sun is lighting up a gate in the logic circuit. But that logic is just one of several different ways of knowing, one of many different kinds of intelligences. It's vital. We need it. It's important, but it's not the absolute truth. It's not the be all and the end all. And we see this in science a lot, right? That sometimes people think, well, science is the final word on things. Science is valuable. Science is helpful. Science has revealed many things to us. It's helped us build the world that we're in right now. But it's also limited. It only has particular characteristics, but not the whole perspective. And that's really what we're getting to look at right now with this knowing circuit and with this being plugged into super consciousness. So I want to invite you to be considering, have you been getting intuition? Have you been getting, a little tap on the shoulder that's like, hey, are you paying attention to this? Or are you getting impulses to move in a certain direction or to move away from something? What are you doing when you get those impulses or those intuitions or those insights? Are you paying attention to them? Are you ignoring them because they're not logical? Because you can't prove it to anybody, including yourself? How are you actually relating to the different hunches that you're getting? And I want to support you, particularly during these days when the earth is also lighting up this energy, so it can give you a stronger foundation, as it were, to build on, to feel these insights that are coming in, and to be like, what if I were to use those a little bit more as a ground for me to be living in my life? And you can also look at, has Pluto been working with you in any way? Have you had any breakdowns, for example, where maybe you got an intuition not to do something, but your logical mind said to do it, or somebody in your life said you should do it, and so then you did it, and then you went, that didn't work at all. Or I really got myself into trouble in doing that. Or I expended all this energy and nothing came out of it. Right? So to have a little reflection for yourself, because Pluto's in retrograde motion right now, and retrogrades are a really great time to go back and reflect, to do some inner work, to review, to reflect, and to reorganize, to rebuild, to recreate. And so take the opportunity now to value your intuition and what is being brought to you both by the earth and by Pluto right now, and to see how can you open up your receptivity to the brilliance, to your own intuition, to the brilliance that wants to come to and through you through that 61 right here. And embrace it with an energy of wonder, of awe, of inspiration, of really out of the box possibilities. And you might just find that you will be led or invited into new places certainly than what's been routine for you, but that you may have never even considered before. Now, the earth in the gate 61 is paired with the sun in the gate 62. So the 61's right up here on the head, right? The 62 is on the throat. And the 62 is in the logic circuit. So this is the energy for analysis, for planning, for it's more linear, it's more logical, it's more rational, okay? And that has a place and it's valuable. And the 62 in traditional human design is known as the gate of details, and in quantum human design is known as the gate of preparation. So one way to think about this is this energy is coming in through another gate in the head, through the logic circuit, through the ajna, out down here into the throat. And the throat is the center for expression, for initiating, and for manifestation. And there isn't any motor here. There's no energy coming from a motor here. So it's not a forceful initiatory energy at all. And that makes sense when we think of it as preparation, which is how Karen Curry Parker renamed the 62 as preparation, because it doesn't have energy on its own to manifest. It is on the throat, but it's not there to initiate and manifest unless it has energy coming from the throat. Sorry, coming from a motor. So this is an energy for like assessing and seeing what is true right now, playing around with different possibilities. What if we tried it this way? What if we tried it that way? What if, you have this idea coming in through your 61, through that knowing circuit that feels really out of the box. But then that 62 can be like, well, okay, that's kind of a grounding force for me. What can that open up for me? How can I start to imagine things being different than the way I might have if I wasn't having that come in through superconsciousness, if I was being overly logical and only taking in things that make sense in terms of a logical mindset. So you can be thinking about how can these ideas that are coming in from superconsciousness, how can they filter in and support your preparation, your planning, your analysis of where you're going to go next, your understanding about the patterns that are going on in your life, because the logic circuit is all about patterns. It's about being able to see patterns, see where patterns are out of alignment and helping them come back into alignment, but also just being able to notice and to pay attention. So when you're doing your preparing and you're paying attention to the details, you also want to be able to open to out of the box perspectives on it, so that you're not only doing this from a logical point of view. This is one of those times where you might have a creative tension between what's happening in the sun and what's happening in the earth, because you do have logic and you do have knowing, and they're very, very different from each other. What you want to try to do is avoid them getting into conflict with each other, and particular if logic starts beating up on your intuition, right? Which is generally the way that we've been trained, right? Is that if I can't prove it, if I can't analyze it, if it's not out there somewhere where it's been replicated, there's been studies on it or something like that, then I can't believe it. That mindset can just completely dismiss your intuition. And then what's happening when you do that is you're really cutting yourself off from one of your superpowers, because your intuition is one of your superpowers. The knowing circuit is absolutely a superpower. So you just want to adjust what's happening in logic with what's also happening in knowing, so that they can both contribute. And you want to find a way to have them dance with each other, right? Rather than having them fight with each other, you want to have them dance with each other. So what might that look like for you? And part of it, I know for me, when I think about something like that, I might be considering, well, how, if I'm doing some planning or some strategizing, how can I be open to there being some flow in that as I move forward? Because it may be that my intuition is going to bring me some new insights, right? You might also look at what has already been coming up. Like I said, Pluto has already been activating this energy for you. What has already been coming up for you that you can then bring into inform your planning, inform your strategizing for yourself right now? And it may be something that, like I said, feels like from left field, or feels like it's coming from somewhere that you don't know. But you could still bring it in and consider if it's valuable for you. There's just one other reminder here that I want to bring up. I mentioned it last week, which is that Jupiter is still in the gate 55, which is the gate of abundance. And Jupiter is also retrograde, which means that we're in a reflecting relationship to this energy. So you might just look for yourself at what is your relationship to abundance and to prosperity. What has been your relationship to it throughout your life? Is it different now than it was when you were younger? Is it different now, kind of in our emerging post-COVID age, than it was pre-COVID or during COVID, right? We've had a lot that's happened in the last 18 months. What is your relationship to that? Is there anything that you want to upgrade? Anything that you want to revise, to have a new relationship with it? Because Jupiter will give you the energy to do that, and it'll help you to expand that as you do your reflection, you do your review, and you decide what it is that you really want to emphasize, what it is that you want to energize. And you can be tapping into that 61 again, to be asking for the guidance to be coming from super consciousness about how you can shift and expand and upgrade your relationship to prosperity and to abundance. And you can also be relying on that energy from the sun, which is in that preparatory details, to be like, oh, well, you know what, if I were to review what's happening in the patterns that I have around my abundance and around my prosperity, what have been my habits, what have been my defaults, and how can I upgrade that now? How can I prepare for that? How can I plan for that? How can I strategize for that using that energy of the 62? I hope this helps to show you ways that you can start to dance with the different energies that are alive during this week. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And of course, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you about what you're going to be doing to activate and to utilize these energies this week. And particularly, have you noticed if Pluto has been playing with you with that 61, with your intuition? What's been your relationship to Jupiter and that abundance energy, that prosperity energy, for example? All right. Many blessings. Much love. Bye for now.